What do you do when life hands you lemons? You make lemon drizzle cake. Happy Fat Friday! Here back in the Scranham Leather kitchen for Fat Friday, and today we're going to make Mary Berry's lemon drizzle loaf cake. It's one of my favourites. It's a favourite among a few people that I know, and it's a recipe that's really easy to follow. It's an all-in-one method, so that basically means that all the ingredients go in the one bowl and get mixed. And it gets put in a baking tin, a loaf tin, and that's it, in the oven, and that's it. So it's 175 grams of self-raising flour, 175 grams of caster sugar, 175 grams of softened butter, 3/4 of a level teaspoon of baking powder, 3 large eggs, and the finely grated zest of 1 lemon. That all goes into the bakery mix. You keep the juice of that lemon and you put that away for your sugar lemon coating that goes in the top. And that's it. So let's get started. Now I'm making 2 of these because there's a reason. So let's get started. So right, 175 grams of the flour. The flour's pre-sifted, but as you know me, I sift it again. I think everything's nice and light and fluffy and the way it should be. So 175 grams of this. Oh, it's a bit extra. There we go, 175. Right, we'll just set that in a cloud of, and tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be. Right, so that's that. 175. And the baking powder I will add into that. And it is 3/4 of a level. So it's a half. I've lost my quarter metal, so I've got 2 1/8 in there. And I'll sieve that as well. And we'll go with that. I have already grated the lemon into rind, and I've basically just used the fine end of my box grater, which has escaped me. Let me show you. Is it in the wash? No, where is it? Where is it? My husband's probably tidied up for me to be really helpful, and it's away. So anyway, the fine end, you get the big end for grating cheese and the finer end at the other side. You just use that fine end and grate that. And melted butter, 175 grams of, it's not melted butter, it's softened butter. I'm calling it melted butter because I messed up. I had forgot to take my butter out of the fridge, so I had to soften it by just putting it in a low heat in the microwave to melt it slightly, to soften it. And I would rather have left it out this morning. I just completely forgot. When you're baking cakes, your baked goods always combine and mix much better if they're at room temperature. Unless a recipe calls for something to be cold, then I would highly recommend that you kept everything at room temperature. Set it all out on your shelf, leave it at room temperature until you're ready to mix it all. It mixes so much better. But that's not warm. I melted it slightly in the microwave and let it sit to come back to room temperature again. So that's that in. The 175 grams of caster sugar is in there too. And the eggs. Now, a little thing I always do when I'm putting eggs in, crack an egg into its own bowl. Right, when I know that's okay, I'll put it in, so that I had started with obviously 2 empty bowls. Crack it into one bowl when it's okay, I'll throw it into that bowl. Or straight into my mix. I never ever crack my egg straight into the mix, because if you do that, you could have all your ingredients. You can just check your eggs okay. If there's a tiny little blood spot or something like that, I like to take that out. Don't want that in with my mixture. There's a tiny little blood spot there, so that's gone, right? And then we can add, and then all the eggs, you know, they're all good. If you've got all your mix mixed up, all your ingredients in one bowl, and then you crack a rotten egg in, or an egg that's just, you know, not something, you've ruined all your mix. So I'll always do it. It takes a little bit of extra effort, but it's totally worth it, because you can save your whole ingredients. I always also crack my eggs on the work surface, not on my bowl. Eggshells are dirty, so I wouldn't crack that on my bowl and put that in, just in case, no, just to be safe. So crack it on your work surface and open it into the dish, and then it goes into your main bowl. So that's all of that in. So we have the flour, the sugar, the eggs, the butter, the baking powder, sorry, and the lemon rind, all mixed in together. I am just going to mix that up with a handheld mixer until it's all combined. Now that's all been combined, it looks like that. And we just put this into a pre-lined loaf tin. I've used these pre-liners that are already done for you. You can absolutely just line it with your own parchment paper. I just happened to have bought these one day, they were in a deal. And so I just started putting a little bit in the bottom to spread that out, just so that the liner doesn't fold in on itself and it's all opened out. I should have used the spoon instead of this spatula, but hey ho. And this all goes in here. Just tip the whole lot in. And once it's all in the tin, it just looks like that. Just spin it all in, a little pat just to level it out, and put that in your oven, the sort of middle-ish, low to middle oven, 160 fan, and this will take around 35 to 40 minutes to bake. And we'll just look at it and check it. You can do the skewer test if it comes out dry, and you also can press the sponge, and if it springs back nice and springy, you know it's ready. But we'll have a look at the time. So 35 to 40 minutes. I'll set my timer for 35, keep an eye on it. Can't quite remember if it's 35 or 40, but roughly that. I actually just checked my little recipe book there, and it is 40 to 45 minutes. So I've set my timer for 40 minutes. And I think it took 40 minutes last time I made it. And it's funny, the reason I'm making two is I'm not making the lemon drizzle cake, either of them, for myself. So I don't know what I'll have as a treat. I'll maybe make something else tomorrow as my weekend treat. But I took a pair of shoes in to be healed to the local cobblers. And the local cobbler and Studio Cobblers, Saltcoats, he's a friend of my father, well, and ours now, I suppose, but yeah, and so my father had went to pick my shoes up for me and said, right, how much is that I owe you, John? And he was like, oh, I'll do a barter system, I don't want paid, I just would like Rose to give me one of her lemon drizzle cakes. So this lemon drizzle cake is payment for my shoes being healed. Isn't that nice? And this is one of the things I really love about living in a small town, is things like that. It wouldn't really, nothing like that would happen in the city, you know. It's not where I work, and I love Glasgow, and the Glaswegian people are the friendliest and the most real Scottish people you'll ever meet. But big cities don't tend to have that personal touch, and the community where people really get to know each other well. Pockets within centres of community, but not the same, where everybody sort of knows your name, or at least your face, because you're familiar, and they do kind of things like that. So that's the first one is for John the Cobbler. The second one is when my dad had come in and said, "Oh, John just wants a lemon drizzle cake. He wouldn't take any money for your shoes." I said, "What's he like?" And I said, "Well, that's funny because I've just bought a big bag of lemons." And so then I got a phone call like a day later from my friend Donna, who said, "I heard you just get a big bag of lemons, so you better be making me one of your lemon drizzle cakes." So as it turned out, Donna had passed my dad walking along the shore and stopped to offer him a lift. So he was going to a local supermarket and he was just going in a jolly with his free bus pass. And she stopped and gave him a lift, and I don't know how the conversation came up to tell her that I had bought lemons. So it's just so funny. And then I'm getting this message saying, "I heard you bought lemons. I hope you're making me a lemon drizzle cake." So one's for John, and the other one I might give to Donna, or I might half it between Donna and my dad. I don't know, but I'm only making 2. I don't have time to make 3. I'm getting out this afternoon with my lovely aunt, and we're having a night at a show in Glasgow. So that's why I'm breaking my own rules, and I don't have my hair tucked away from my face today because I don't want to mess up my hair because I'm going out and I've just got enough time to make these and then get changed. So my lovely Auntie Anne and I are going out, and that will be a great time because I always have a lovely time with her. A lot of fun. So that's my evening sorted, my Fat Friday evening. I suppose my Fat Friday is going to be consuming a few beverages, maybe. That's the calories for today. But anyway, that's what the lemon drizzle cakes are for. I'm not even getting a bit. Right, so the cakes are ready to come out of the oven. So just give them a quick check. And what it should be is skewer test. Skewer goes in, comes out, dry and clean. Also, when you press, come in a little bit closer. When you press here, it springs back. That's perfectly ready. I'll just sit that there for a second. I'll just check my other one. Perfect. Now, I'll allow these to cool in the tin for 10 minutes and then I'll add the drizzle. Right, while the cakes are cooling in their tin, leave them cooling in their tin for about 10 minutes. That helps keep the bottom nice and moist. You will take them out and leave them in a cooling rack, but in the meantime, what I do is get the drizzle ready. So I've got 100 grams of caster sugar in this little dish, and to that I'm going to add the juice of a lemon. So all I do with the lemon is cut the lemon in half. I'll squeeze the lemon juice. I need to get a lemon juicer, but I don't have one, so I'll just squeeze the lemon juice into the jug. Now this is fine if you don't have any little cuts or sore bits in your fingers, nips or anything. So anyway, I'll squeeze all that in. Right, and then we'll just pour that through my little tea strainer. Just into another jug. Cast that aside, and we'll just pour that over the sugar. Pour that over the sugar, and then I'll stir that in. Right, so as much as Mary Berry I worship, the only thing I've changed in this recipe is Mary Berry uses granulated sugar. And I did the first time I ever made the recipe. The first time I make anyone's recipe, I follow it to the letter, to the T. But then I might adapt slightly. And as much as I love Mary, and I mean no disrespect to my hero, I prefer it with caster sugar. I just find the granulated a bit crunchy, and this goes to a nice, so you want it like a drippy running consistency. That was quite a juicy lemon, so I'm going to add just a touch more sugar to that. So I am. I just know by sort of eyeballing it the consistency that I want it to be. So it's sort of thick but still runny, so quite thick It's still runny, and it gives it a lovely drizzly when you put it on when it's still slightly warm, and then once it dries, it goes to a nice drizzly, almost like little lemon crispy crust. And as I say, this is popular with a lot of people that know me that ask me to make it. And I let the drizzle run down all the outsides. And one of my friends, one of my close friends, James, he loves getting the end bit with all the drizzle all down the outside. If I make it, he'll always say, keep me the end bit. So I have another one here I'm mixing up for my second one. So I'm just throwing the sugar in this one because I know by looking at it how much sugar it needs. It needs a lot more than that. Right, let's see. So I'm just doing this, and I'm literally out the door because I'm actually running late, which is why I got changed. So yeah, drizzle, and I'll leave them on the side to cool fully once I've poured the drizzle on, and then I'm out of here. So I'll show you when I pour the drizzle on. Okay, so we're just going to put the drizzle on because I really need to go. So here we are. So what I'll do is I'll lift it out of its paper for the moment, carefully. Just leave the paper on just now, open it a little bit, and then I'll just put a little bit of, dig a few holes in. I like to do that because the lemon drizzle soaks right down. And then I'll take the drizzle, which, as I showed you, is a nice oozy bit thick but still runny consistency, and all I do is just pour it over, and it's still warm, and it will soak into those little holes and go right down into the cake. It's oozing. I use a whole lot. There we go. And then I'll just give it a little bit of a spread over. And that's the kind of consistency I want. So I did say start with 100 grams of the sugar, but then it depends on how juicy your lemon is. Some lemons are juicier than others. And just like that, pour over. Could be slightly runnier, but we like it to have a bit of a oozy crust. It's like a nice lemon crust. And it's just absolutely delicious. And it's a really nice moist lemony cake. I'll just do the other one because I have to. Let's see how lovely those turned out. I need slightly more of this. It was a bigger lemon, so I might not use all of this. There we go. Let's see how this goes. I'm not being as neat as usual, as I'm in a little bit of a rush, trying to catch. Yeah, oh well. In this instance, more is more. I'll just share that wee bit that's left with that wee corner there. Right, I might end up making more of these because I see when word gets out, everybody wants some. Right, and that is it. So now that they are off their thing, I actually would like to take it off this paper just to let the air get underneath. So bear with me a second. I have something that'll help. Just so that I don't wreck the cake. Use my fish slice. I'm resourceful. There we go. Without wrecking it. I'll swing that around the other side. And normally I'd have a bit of parchment paper underneath to catch this sugar and through onto the worktop, but it's such a rush. There we go. So I'm leaving them to cool. My lovely husband will put them in an airtight container when they're cold for me, because I won't be in. And happy Fat Friday. Gran and Blethers,
chat.